Hello, Stoughton. This is Steve Cavey, Selectman for the Town of Stoughton. Today is April 2nd, 2019. And I just wanted to give you guys an update on what transpired during tonight's Board of Selectmen meeting. First of all, just as always, if you look down below in the description, there's some links to some important information. You'll be able to find links to our agendas, to the SMAC meeting, so you can watch the entire meeting. And also there's an anonymous subscription box, so if there's anything you want to let us know, me in particular, I'm the only one who reads it, but if there's anything you want me to know, please write in there. I have no way of knowing who wrote it, and all the informations that I've gotten so far is extremely useful. So I just want to start off with that. Let's dive right into this. So the first thing we went through today, there's two things with regard that we work with the two presentation items from the police chief. The first one was our chief of police, Donna McNamara, and also the district attorney, Michael Morrissey, did a short presentation on the Norfolk County Outreach Program, which is a program that Norfolk County, the program is an effort to prevent opioid deaths, and they described many of the methods that they use to do that, and it's honestly not just policing, not just arresting, but policing as really community service. They're looking to help people, to help them get clean, help them find counselors, and help them solve the problems. And they're also trying to take the dealers, the bad guys, off the street at the same time. They are working very hard, and it looks like there are some really good indications that they're having some major successes. So I thank them for that. Also, Chief McNamara also presented to us, or introduced us to two brand new officers for the town of Stoughton. The first is Officer Michael Conley, and also Officer Douglas Wall. So if you get a chance to meet them, welcome them to Stoughton. I think one's a Stoughton native, and I'm just looking forward to getting to know them better. I wish them a long career and a lot of success. Let's see. So we had citizens' comments, town manager report. If there's a lot of useful information there. I recommend you watch the video for those, though. There were no citizen comments, but the town manager report's always it's good to hear what Dr. Muxian is up to, what the town's up to. We had selectmen comments, and all the members had essentially two messages. One is we don't have a meeting next Tuesday because there's an election next Tuesday. So everyone, please vote. This is important that you do it. It's important that for our democracy, that you go out there and you pick the people you think are best suited to run this town. So please vote. That's next Tuesday. So we'll be meeting the Tuesday after that. But the day before that, on Monday, is the Boston Marathon. So there's a lot of Stoughton residents who are running that. If you know them, wish them good luck from us. And afterwards, I'll be reporting all of their times. I think that I'm thoroughly impressed by the fact that people can show this level of dedication, work this hard, and succeed at these extremely difficult physical goals. So it's amazing. One person in particular that I happen to know is one of the other members of the Board of Selectmen, Christine Howe. So I'm wishing her luck. I'm looking forward to hearing about the experience. The chairman of the board, Bob Regan, had a couple of other things he wanted to lay out, and it was really an effort to talk about some of the things that we should be seeing in the town this spring and summer, and some of the projects that we've been working on, and where they currently stand. For example, the Malcolm and Parsons construction project that's right in the center of town. Some people recognize this as the burnt out building in the middle of town. It's been there for I think 10 years, and we should be seeing some serious movement there. The developer has to go ahead to start working, so we should be seeing demolition in the spring. That was, as I recall, the promise that he made, the commitment that he made was to start having construction in the spring and summer. So hopefully we'll start to see that soon. So and unfortunately, it's probably going to be the traffic there is already a little bit tough. So so it's probably going to be difficult to get through the center a little bit harder than usual. But it's for a good cause. We're going to be making this place look nice. We also have the town's going to be taking title for the train depot this month. And because of that, because we should have that in hand by this time next month, we're looking to have public hearings on what the best use of that building is, and we want to hear what citizens of the town have to say. So that on May 7th, there's going to be a public hearing about that. If for some reason you aren't able to make it, you don't want to speak publicly, you can always email us or you can write. Just if you can get it to us by April 30th, that'd be great, so we can share it with the people who are there. There'll be a parking management study that's a state-funded parking management study for the downtown. So, you know, this is a list of things that we're going to be doing for the town that will not be funded by Stoughton taxpayers, but in many cases by the state or just a generally larger area. So we have the streetscape study, which is funded by Old Colony Planning. Highest and best use for the Randolph Savings Bank, which is being funded by a state grant. There's going to be traffic improvements that are part of state-funded improvements. And that looks like, I think there might have been a longer list, but I ran out of paper in that case. So if you get a chance to watch it, check it out. So there's a lot of good things happening in the town, and you know, we've cleared a bunch of obstacles, and we really are hoping to see a lot of improvements happening really quickly now. So the next item that we discussed was a licensing application. BJ's Wholesale Club is looking to put a underground storage tank. I think it's a fuel tank on their property for people who have the membership, and because they're putting, I think it might be relatively close to wetlands, so the Conservation Commission needs to review this application before the Board of Selectmen can address it. And the last meeting they had, from what I understand, they weren't able to meet. I think they weren't able to form a quorum, so they had to continue to the next meeting time that they'd have, which is April 4th, so that's 2 days from now, Thursday. And so we wouldn't be able to, the Board of Selectmen had to continue this public hearing until after that. Hopefully they'll, we've asked that they re-advertise that, and we'll be meeting the May 7th, 8 o'clock. We'll be discussing that. Next item, Ash Park Drive extension. So off of Ash Park Drive, there's a new property that needed to get approval to build, where they're extending that street out a little bit further. That was presented by the town engineer, Mark Tisdale, and that passed. Next thing we discussed were water and sewer abatements. The Water and Sewer Subcommittee, which is made up of myself and Mike Sullivan, met several weeks ago. I think it might have been about a month ago. We met with 21 citizens who were looking for abatements to their water bill, and we were able to work out reasonable compromises with all of them. And then we brought it to the full board. The full board had to vote on those, and they accepted all of our recommendations. The next item we covered, consent agenda. It's just some pretty routine stuff. But one thing we did separate out is I don't know if you guys remember, but 220 Cushing Street. It was directly across from the middle school about a year ago, maybe even a little more than that. I think it was 2 summers ago. There was a really major concern because there was a recycling plant that was looking to move in to that spot, and there were parts of their business that nearby residents were very concerned about. A lot of trucks and they were coming right through that area, and also perhaps some of the issues with just the incinerators and stuff like that. So being right directly across from an elementary, or sorry, from a junior high school, had a lot of residents of that area and parents whose kids go to that school concerned, and I think rightly. So we asked our town planner to take a look at all areas that are near schools and libraries, parks, any place where children are going to be, and to look to see if the zoning that's around those areas made sense for them, so that we could not have this kind of problem happen again. And we actually didn't. The answer we got back was not really satisfactory. So we are going to be doing that again. We've asked that we don't have currently, our town planners just recently retired, so that's an open position. But actually, the town engineer he's essentially charged with those responsibilities right now. He's filling that gap, and so we asked Mr. Tisdale just look into where that stands and offer some recommendations. Look into the areas where we want to make sure that the zoning is safe for our kids. To that end, a private citizen did make a request that we create a new zoning level. It would be light industrial, and that we refer this to the planning board. I'm not sure if I understand. I'm going to look at it. This is the first time that something like this has come up for me. So I want to understand exactly how this works, but as I understand, the Mass General Law does require that this come to us, but it also requires that there's really no choice but to forward it on. It's required that we forward it on. So we did, as part of our consent agenda, we did separate out and discuss it, but we ultimately voted, I think it was either 4-1 or 5-0 to move this on to them. And so light industrial zone, a lot of the uses that people were most concerned with a lot of those issues would be resolved by having this light industrial zone, and that particular area, 220 Cushing, the general area would be looked at as being having the zoning changed to this light industrial. Okay, and then the last thing we had was a public hearing on the water and sewer rates. And this is where we've got some good news and some bad news, but I hopefully overall people kind of see where we're coming from. We have so we're asked once a year to examine the water and sewer rates based on estimates of the following years, what the town accountant and head of DPW they're seeing, and they're asking for some guidance on what the water rates should be. So I want to open this up, make sure I have it in front of me. My apologies here. I may not be able to pull this out. Oh, it should be after this. Okay. 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 So in general, the water and sewer rates are the enterprises for them, the actual management of them they're separate. So they're run separately, they're accounted separately, and what can be factored in the accounting of them is also separate. So there's certain things we can do with water that we can't do with sewer, and vice versa. So the here it is. So what we're looking at is, I'm actually going to start with the sewer, even though we discussed water first. With the sewer, we are currently in a pretty bad position with that. The cost to the town for sewer, which we ultimately just pass along to the end users, is rising faster than we've been raising the rates. So the average increase is like 3%, and we've been increasing it by like 1.5%. And we're at a point now where if we do it if we increase by anything less than 3.3%, then our sewer wouldn't even break even. So we ultimately chose 4-to-1 to raise the sewer rates 3.3%. And if we did nothing, if we left it the way it was at a 0% increase, we would see a $202,000 deficit. It's 202,569. So to bridge that gap, we have to increase our sewer rates throughout the town. On the other side, on the water side, what we see is that if we did nothing, if we did not increase at all, made no increase at all, then we would see a surplus of $272,560. And so that we can't just net these two together, but the deficit of one is pretty close to the surplus of the other. So what we've elected to do is actually decrease the water by 5%. So sewer's going up 3.3%, and water is going down 5%. So what we'll end up with is if these projections are correct, is a break even with the sewer, and with the water we would have about a $65,000 surplus. But the gains of one end up being the losses of the other. So what we end up doing is reducing our surplus by $207,000 at the same time that we're bridging a deficit on the other side. So now the problem with this is that there's nothing about this that can be perfectly equitable, where for every single person what their sewer is going to increase by is offset directly by what their water is decreased by, and that we can't do that because there's just too many different schemes for how people pay for water and sewer. There's people who have a septic tank but they use town water. There's people who have both. There's people who have neither. There's people who have a well but they're tied into sewer. It's the net benefit to sort of the aggregate washes out in this case. On the whole, we end up with parity. We find out with what we are decreasing on one side, we're increasing on the other. For individuals, the extent to which they're going to notice that difference is going to be very unique to their situation. But there is no way to do this on a case-by-case basis. There's practically no way to decide for each individual that everyone get exactly the equal amount of treatment on this. So I regret that. I think it's kind of a flaw. It's a weakness in our system. I don't know if it's a flaw. I don't know what the alternative is. But we're trying to do right by you guys, and when we saw that there was a surplus in the water, then our view, at least my view, I can only speak for myself in this case, is that that's not something that you owe the town. There's no reason for you to pay more than you needed to. So we've reduced the rates to compensate for that, and I do regret to have to say that the sewer rates that we're just passing through from the NWRA had to be increased to compensate for virtually no increases over the last 4 years. I think there was a 1.5% increase last year, a 2% increase the year before, and then a 0% increase for the 3 years before that. So overall, year over year, the increase to the town has been about 3% per year, and those numbers don't match up. So we've been subsidizing sewer with the general fund, and it's honestly not very appropriate that we just take money that can be used towards services and apply them to only sewer that only some people use. So it's not perfect news, but that is where we came down on that in an effort to be as thoughtful as possible for everyone's situation. Then we had some executive session items, but we won't discuss those there. Sorry this one went long. I was really hoping to make this brief, but you get me talking, and it's hard to shut me up. So once again, thank you very much for allowing me to serve the town. It's an honor, a privilege. Please vote next Tuesday. And other than that, have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.